All right, welcome back to the show, everyone. This deep dive is all about setting goals and systems, especially for those of you building a business. We got some really great material from you guys this time around, and I'm excited to see what we find.
You know, it's funny. People, they treat goals and systems like they're the same thing, but they're really different. They work best together. It's kind of like a classic adventure story.
Okay, I do love a good story. What do you mean?
Okay, so imagine your vision for your business. That's like the shining city on a hill in the distance. It's alluring, right? It's your why. But to get there, you need more than just looking at it. You need a plan.
Right, you could just teleport there. You're saying that's where goals come in.
Yeah, exactly. Goals are like your map.
Mm.
You know, they break down the journey into smaller steps. Each goal is a milestone that gets you closer to that city. But even with a good map, you still need the right way to travel.
Ah, I see. So the systems are the vehicle, the way you get there.
Exactly. Systems are the repeatable processes that, once you set them in motion, power your journey. They're like the engine, the wheels, even the navigation. They make sure you stay on track and make progress, even when you're not paying attention to every little thing.
So goals tell you where to go, and systems are how you get there.
That's it. And, we hear a lot about how powerful setting goals is, but sometimes we forget about the systems. They're not as glamorous, but they're really the backbone of any business that succeeds.
Now, this material you gave me, it talks about that SMART framework for goals. I've heard of it, sure, but I've never really used it, seriously.
Yeah, it's easy to just skim over, but when you really think about each part of SMART, it makes a big difference. Take specific, for example. Like instead of saying, I want to increase sales, a SMART goal would be, I want to increase online sales of product X by 15% before the end of Q2. That's a goal you can actually measure and track, right?
Yeah. Right. You're holding yourself accountable that way. No more vague goals. It's about making them real, making them things you can actually act on.
That's it. And for someone starting a new business, someone like you've got tons of things to do, right? So the achievable and relevant parts of SMART, those are super important. It's all about setting yourself up for success with goals that are, a little tough, but still realistic and that work with your overall vision.
Like you're picking a challenging hiking trail, but one that you can actually finish. You want to be challenged, but you still want to make it to the next camp. Okay, let's be honest for a sec. We can't talk about goals without talking about finances. Like, that's the big scary thing, isn't it?
Totally. And the stuff you shared had a whole section on this, which is great. A lot of new business owners, they're kind of intimidated by financial stuff.
Intimidator is putting it lightly. It makes me nervous just thinking about it. So, how do we do it? How do we get over those financial fears and set good money goals?
It all starts with a good budget, but not just any budget. It has to be like a flexible model that includes not just how much money you think you'll make and spend, but also your growth projections, how much you want to save.
Oh, so it's more than just that spreadsheet of monthly bills then.
Right. It has to be a living thing. It helps you keep track of your cash flow, make smart choices about spending and investments, and it even helps you see problems coming. Plus, you got to keep checking and changing your budget as your business changes.
Yeah, I get it. You don't want to get caught off guard by unexpected costs or miss out on opportunities because your budget's stuck in the past. But besides budgeting, what other financial goals should new business owners have?
Well, a lot depends on your business, what you're doing. But some common ones are saving up an emergency fund, building good credit for your business, and making a plan to manage your debt.
It's funny how those things don't come up in those entrepreneur success stories, but they're super important for staying in business, aren't they? It's like building a strong foundation so your financial house doesn't fall down.
Exactly. And speaking of foundations, that brings us to the unsung heroes of business, the things that make a business work. Systems.
Okay, let's talk systems. I am ready to get organized.
Systems are what make your business work, the invisible force that keeps everything running smoothly. They're like the repeatable processes that make everything in your business standard.
So it's not just working hard, it's working smart too.
You got it. Systems make your business consistent and predictable. They help you deliver a high-quality product or service, every single time, even when you're not directly involved in each step.
Okay.
It's like having a machine working behind the scenes, taking care of all the important stuff.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But how do we even start with this whole system thing? Honestly, it seems a little overwhelming to me.
Yeah, it can be. But remember that city on the hill. Well-defined systems are like the roads, bridges, and all the other things that help you get there efficiently and safely. Let's talk about the essential ones that every new business needs.
Okay, I'm ready. Tell me how to build these systems and make my way to success.
All right, so you're saying systems are like the infrastructure for our business city, right? But how do we actually build these systems? Do we need like a hard hat and a construction crew?
Haha, good analogy. We might not need actual construction, but yeah, you got to be organized to build good business systems.
Okay, so where do we begin? Like, what's the first step?
First, figure out what you need. What are the biggest problems in your business right now? Where are things slowing down or not working well? What tasks are taking way too much of your time?
So it's about finding the spots that really need a system, right? No need to build a bridge where there's no river.
Exactly. And for new businesses, I think setting up financial systems first is super important. If you have a clear system for managing money from the start, it'll save you a lot of trouble later on.
Yeah, we talked about budgets and planning, but how does that become a system? A good financial system is more than just a budget. It's things like setting up ways to track your income and expenses, how you manage invoices and payments, even generating financial reports. It's like having a dashboard that shows you the health of your business in real time.
Okay, so we know what we need. We've got an idea for these new systems. What's the next step in building this thing?
Now we get into the details. Documentation. Before you even think about tools or automation, you have to write down every single process in your business.
So, like flowcharts, step-by-step instructions, all of that.
Yep. This is super important for two reasons. First, it makes you really think about how you do things, and that can help you find hidden problems. Second, it gives you a plan to build your systems and teach other people how to use them.
Like reading the instructions before you put together furniture, way less frustrating that way.
Right. And once you've got all those processes written down, then comes the fun part, picking the right tools.
Okay, now you're talking. I love trying out new tools and tech, but how do you know which ones are right for you? There are just so many.
That's where those written processes come in handy. They tell you exactly what you need the tools to do. Like,
Yeah.
if you're setting up a system to manage client projects, you might look at tools like Asana or Trello for project management, Slack for communication, and Google Drive for file sharing.
So it's not just about getting the newest, fanciest tools, but about picking what really fits with how you work, right?
Right. And remember, these tools should make your life easier, not harder. So pick tools that are easy to use and work well together. You don't want to be stuck with a bunch of separate systems that don't talk to each other.
It's like choosing the right building materials, making sure they're strong and work well together. Speaking of making things easier, there's one word that keeps coming up in this material you gave me: automation.
Ah, yes. Automation. That's the magic of efficient systems. It's like having a bunch of virtual assistants working for you all the time, taking care of those boring, repetitive tasks.
Okay, tell me more. What can we actually automate?
Oh, so many things. Like sending emails to new subscribers, scheduling social media posts, handling invoices, even creating reports. Anything you do the same way every time can probably be automated with the right tools.
Wow, that's amazing. I can already see how much time and stress that would save, but once you've built these awesome automated systems, can you just relax and let them run themselves?
I wish. But even the best machines need regular maintenance and adjustments. Systems aren't static. They need to change as your business grows and the world changes.
So it's not a one-time thing. What does system maintenance actually involve?
It's all about checking in and making adjustments. I suggest scheduling time every 3 months to see how your systems are doing. Look for any bottlenecks, any places where things are slowing down or just not working as well as they could be. Then you can tweak and improve things as needed.
So it's about constantly improving, not just setting things up and hoping for the best.
Exactly. Yeah, and don't forget about your team. They're a big part of your system too.
Yeah.
Get them involved, ask for their feedback, and make sure they're trained properly. After all, they're the ones who use these systems every day.
Right. It's about making systems that help your team, not make things harder for them. Before we go on, is there anything people usually mess up when they're building systems? Anything we should watch out for?
Oh, for sure. One big mistake is making things too complicated. Remember, the goal is to make things simpler, not more complex. Start with easy systems that fix your biggest problems and then add complexity as you go.
So start small, like building a cabin, and then maybe you can grow into a mansion later. Get the basics right first.
Exactly. Another mistake is forgetting to check in on those systems. They're not supposed to stay the same forever. They have to change as your business changes. So make sure you're checking in regularly to keep everything running smoothly.
Right. Be proactive, not reactive. Don't wait for the system to break before you do anything.
You mentioned financial systems before, and I think it's important to give some specific tips for building a strong financial foundation for your business.
Okay, let's get into it. What are the absolute essentials for a financial system that'll set us up for success?
First things first, you got to keep track of every single dollar that comes in and goes out of your business. Use accounting software or even a simple spreadsheet to categorize your transactions, see how your cash flow is doing, and spot any problems early on.
I love a good spreadsheet. There's something so satisfying about seeing all those numbers organized and in their place.
And it gives you data to analyze. Next, keep your personal and business finances separate, like oil and water. This makes bookkeeping easier, taxes less stressful, and helps you make clearer decisions about your business spending.
So, no more using the business account for personal stuff. Got it.
Exactly. Now, remember that emergency fund we talked about. It's not just for personal finances. It's crucial for businesses, too. Having a financial safety net can help you handle unexpected problems and make tough decisions without panicking.
Okay, emergency fund is definitely a priority. What else should we be thinking about?
Taxes. Don't wait until the last minute to deal with them. Set up a system to manage your taxes all year round. Think
Mhm.
about talking to a tax expert to make sure you're doing everything right and taking advantage of all the deductions you can.
Good advice. Okay, we've covered a lot here. We talked about figuring out what we need, documenting processes, choosing the right tools, automation, and even those essential financial systems. I'm feeling inspired.
And we're just getting started. But before we jump into even more about systems, let's take a break and let all this sink in.
Sounds good to me. We'll be back soon to wrap up our deep dive into goals and systems and talk about how to make them work together perfectly. All right, we're back, ready to finish up our deep dive into goals and systems. Feels like we've put together a whole toolbox to help us build a business that uh, thrives and runs smoothly, you know?
Yeah, for sure. We've laid a good foundation.
Mm.
From setting those big goals to figuring out the systems to get us there.
And you know what? I'm starting to see how these two things, goals and systems, they're really connected. It's not just about having one or the other, it's about making them work together, right?
Absolutely. There's that saying, a vision without a plan is just a hallucination. Goals are the vision, they're where you want to go, and the systems are how you get there. They make it happen.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But just to make sure we're all on the same page, can we go over the difference between goals and systems one more time?
Sure. Think of it like this. Goals are the what? They're the things you want to achieve. They're your targets, how you measure success. Systems, on the other hand, are the how. They're the processes that get you there.
So goals give you direction, and systems are like the vehicle and the roadmap.
Exactly. Like you wouldn't go on a road trip without a map and a car,
Hmm.
right? Same thing with starting a business. You need good goals and strong systems.
So if you had to choose just one system that every new business needs, no matter what industry, what would it be?
Ooh, that's tough. They're all important. But if I had to pick just one, it would be a system for managing your time.
Time management. That's not what I expected. Why time management?
Time is, it's the most valuable thing you have, especially when you're just starting out, wearing all those hats, doing everything. A good time management system can help you stay in control, keep you from feeling overwhelmed.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. So what does a good time management system look like? What's in it?
Well, first, you got to figure out your most important tasks, the things that really make a difference for your business. Then you protect the time you set aside for those tasks, like they're really important meetings you can't miss.
That's easier said than done, right? Especially when you've got all these emails, messages, and urgent things popping up all the time.
True. That's where the system comes in. You need ways to minimize distractions, give tasks to other people if you don't absolutely have to do them yourself, and set boundaries around your time.
So it's more than just using a calendar app. It's about changing how you think about time and like creating structures that help you focus.
Exactly. And remember, time management is a skill. It takes practice. Try different things, see what works for you, and be patient.
It's a journey, right? Not just a destination.
Well said. And speaking of journeys, looks like we've reached the end of ours. We explored how powerful goals are, we dug into building systems, and we even talked about how important it is to master time.
It's been a lot, but it's been great. I really understand how all these things fit together to build a business that lasts.
That's what we were going for. And even though we covered a lot, don't forget, building a business is a process. You're always learning, adapting, getting better.
Before we wrap up, is there one last thought you can leave our listeners with? Something to inspire them to, take action?
Sure. Now that you know about goals and systems, What's one system you could start using today that would make the biggest difference in your business? Think about it, and even more importantly, do it.
Great question. I'm going to think about that myself as I get back to work, ready to build those systems and reach those goals.
Awesome. Remember, even small changes, when you do them consistently, can make a big difference over time.
That's great advice. And with that, a big thank you to everyone listening for joining us on this deep dive. Hope you got something out of it and you're feeling ready to take action. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep building your amazing businesses.